morning, everyone. This is Chris around the ATL. It is, what is it, April 23rd. This morning, very briefly, as I try to get ready to go to work, NBA playoffs game 2, Atlanta Hawks versus the New York Knickerbockers. So we talked about game 1 the other day, and it was very important that per what happened in that game, there was a lot that you couldn't go to game 2 and lose game 2 as well. Because again, the odds are not in your favor when you go down 0-2 in any series, much less the NBA playoffs in the first round of all rounds, right? So as we saw the things that transpired in game 1, and we talked about those things, what had to happen in game 2, a couple of those things that I said, you got to get something from the bench. You can't get 13 points from the bench total and think you're going to win against the Knicks, right? I said that you could not have it where, you know, your second chance points and fast break points, you can't give up 48% from 3 again. And even though you didn't necessarily get out rebounded bad, the situational rebounding was an issue. So you couldn't let that be repeated. So what are some of the things that happened in game 2? Well, let's go over them very briefly. So first of all, we gave up 54 points in the paint, which is more than game 1. Okay. That's an issue. Okay. Second chance points. We gave up 24 second chance points. That is an issue. And mostly that's because we got out rebounded 47-36. See, right there, that's 2 out of 4 categories. You usually would lose this game just because of those first 2. Fast break points wasn't terrible. We didn't lose fast break points. We actually had more fast break points than the Knicks, but we still gave up 13. They didn't hit threes. They only shot 32% from 3. So that wasn't it. And everything else is pretty much dead even. Steals, blocks, turnovers, shooting percentage, although they shot a worse shooting percentage than we did. Well, those rebounds, 47-36, again, and I'll go over to the actual stat board in a second, but 24 second chance points, that right there usually gets you beat. 54 points in the paint, 24 second chance points, right there usually gets you beat. So let's go over to who did what. Because what did I say? We could not have 13 points total from the bench again. Basically, our bench, because I said it had to be Zach and Kuminga. Well, per what Zach did in game 1, there was a possibility he wasn't going to play. And he did not indeed play. So it was basically Kuminga is your bench now. So basically, we were at a 6-man rotation for all intents and purposes, right? So Kuminga came out 19 points. So there's that part. So that gives you a chance. He played 34 minutes in the game himself, okay? The starting lineup. Now, we know that game 1, we got 4 points out of Dyson Daniel. Game 2, we got 6 points. Not good, right? Jalen Johnson, we know what he did in game 1. Game 2, Hart, basically for the most part of this game, took him out of the game. Yeah, 17 points total. By the way, I'm just looking at these plus minuses again. Dyson Daniels was at minus 15 and Jalen was at minus 10. Usually that means you're probably going to lose that game, right? Okongwu, again, still pretty solid. It's 15 and 8 in this particular game. He was 6 of 9 from the floor. So he's been doing his part. But Walker, again, not good. In this case, he actually was worse. He had 9 points. So you had 2 of your starters not even get to double digits. I said Dyson Daniels needs to at least get a season average of 12. He's not doing it, right? So depending on what the bench does, can you win a game like that? What saved us again, in this particular case, was CJ did have back-to-back games of 25 or more. In this case, he had 32. The Atlanta Hawks won this game 1 point, 107-106. And again, you had to have it. You had to have it going into game 3, going home for momentum purposes. You had to have it to not have the possibility of even getting swept, because a lot of people are saying that the Hawks were going to get swept. So that can't happen now, right? Who else did something? Let's see. Gabe hit a shot for 3 points. Bradley hit a shot for 2 points. Kispert hit 2 shots for 4 points. He played 8 minutes in the game. Muhammad Gay didn't hit a shot in his 5 minutes. Okay. So again, our bench has been regulated down to Kuminga. You can't rely on nobody else. This is it. So for the rest of this series, it comes down to what is NAW going to do? What is Dyson going to do? See, Dyson having 6 points in game 2 wouldn't be that bad if he had the rebounds and assists that he had in game 1. He had 2 assists and 4 boards in game 2. And it was minus 15 on the plus and minus. So that's not really acceptable. Again, we have to have it to where our starters play like they did during the regular season. That it kind of has to come with it. NAW might be most improved player of the year because he was averaging 20 plus points a game. Him averaging what he's averaging right now isn't really, it can't happen. Not against the Knicks, who this is what the Knicks did that night. OG had 14 and 8. Hart had 15 and 13. Again, Josh Hart, back-to-back games. Again, I'm trying to understand this. It just doesn't make any sense. Game 1, he had 14 rebounds. Game 2, he had 13 rebounds. Again, this is a game that normally the Hawks wouldn't have won. Okay? He also had 6 assists and a steal. He had 15 and 13. That's Josh Hart for you. Cat only had 12 shots in that game. There's going to be an adjustment there for sure. He was 2 of 5 from 3, had 8 boards, a couple of assists, 2 blocks, had 18 points. Bridges didn't shoot well at all, 3 of 10 from the floor. Of course, he missed the game winner. He had 10 points in that game. See, all their starters did score in double digits. Brunson took a lot of shots, 26 shots, 7 assists, had 29 points. Robinson didn't miss a shot. Off the bench, he was 6 of 6 from the floor, had 13.7 boards, steal, and a block. Now, as far as the Knicks bench, this time, they didn't do anything. Other than Mitchell Robinson, Jordan Clarkson had 7, but the rest of their bench didn't even score. Let's see, how much is that? So our bench this time did outscore their bench by a little bit. Game 3, what is sustainable? What has to happen? Because game 2, again, that's what I was missing. I knew it was something else I wanted to mention. Hawks were 18 of 23 from the free throw line. Knicks in this game was 17 for 27. That's another reason we were able to win the game. Because if they hit their free throws, we wouldn't have won this game. All the other stuff, they out-rebounded us, points in second chance points, right? Those were the normal things that would beat you, except they couldn't hit a free throw to save their lives. They went to the free throw line a lot. OG missed 4 free throws. Jalen missed a couple. There was a lot of missed free throws in this game. So what has to happen? What's going to be the adjustments? Number 1, Josh Hart can't be allowed. Well, Jalen Johnson can't have Josh Hart stopping him. I don't understand why they just didn't post up Jalen at a certain point. But if he's stopping you from getting to the basket or doing what you want to do something different. Because Jalen Johnson having 17 points, he did end up shooting 50% for the game. He missed all of his threes. He did hit his free throws, right? He had 8 boards, had 3 assists. See, and again, I keep looking at that assist. He averaged 8 for the season. Lots of times he had more than that in certain games. We're not getting all-star Jalen Johnson right now, and we need that. for us to win this series, he has to be the best player on this team. CJ is a good player, okay? But for us to expect CJ to lead the team, I think that's a misnomer. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the way to go. I don't think that's sustainable, because at the end of the day, the Knicks are going to adjust. Y'all think Jalen Brunson is going to be sticking CJ tonight? I 300% doubt it. Either OG or Bridges will end up guarding him. They'll put Jalen on Dyson, who doesn't want to shoot. He took 5 shots. Dyson Daniels took 5 shots in that game. 2 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 1 from three-point line. He hit 2 free throws. They'll put Jalen Brunson on Dyson and shrug their shoulders and see what's up. Dyson has scored 4 points and 6 points in this series so far. So I do not believe they will, after watching film, if they watch film at all, that they'll leave Jalen on CJ McCollum. And guess what? They can try to do all the switching that they want to. That could be adjusted, because I've done it before. You could try to pick someone off. You already know it's coming. You can slip that, fight through it, all that. Or you can double team. The Knicks will double team. They're not going to just let that happen again 3 times. I just don't see it. Now, I could be wrong, but the Hawks need to be prepared for that. Okongwu has been pretty solid. I say he's probably going to be able to do what he's been doing, right? You got to get something more out of NAW. 3 of 12 from the floor. He hit 2 threes. He had 5 boards. He did have 6 assists. He had 3 blocks, okay, which is why he on the plus and minus, he was at 0, okay, because he did enough to even himself out. But 3 of 12 isn't acceptable, not after the season that he had. But McCollum is 12 of 22 from the floor. He hit 3 threes. He was 3 of 10 from 3. That's 30%. But, you know, he missed 2 free throws. Again, we're talking in a 1-point game that comes in. Again, look at the final scores. These scores are not 131 to anything. This is the playoffs now. Every little bit counts, right? He had 3 boards. CJ had 6 assists. He also had 2 steals. He also had a block. Tony Bradley had 1 rebound in his 12 minutes. That's not enough. Like, why even, again, we don't have a backup center. He did play 12 minutes, though. He did score at least. He did get a bucket. Without his 2 points, we lose the game. So if you want to look at it like that, but that ain't going to cut it. Again, Corey Kispert did hit 2 or 3 from the floor in his 8 minutes, 4 points. Again, Gabe 1 for 2 from the floor in his 14 minutes. He had 2 points. Oh, he actually had 3 points. He hit a 3. That was basically his contribution. But Kuminga was 7 of 12 from the floor. He hit 1 3, hit 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Again, he missed 2 free throws. They were big. He did have 4 boards. He had an assist. He had 2 steals. He also had a block. The Hawks in this game, 7 blocks in this game. You know what that means? They're contesting shots. That's something they didn't do for 2 months. From December 29th to March 1st, they weren't contesting shots. They weren't rotating well. They didn't have nothing to, again, people are going to say, well, that was because, no, that player didn't play after December 27th. For 2 months, that same team, without that player, wasn't doing the job. Okay? Again, you don't got to believe me. All you got to do is look at the games. All you got to do is pull up the numbers. NBA.com will save your life. It's not hard. It's very simple. But they have been overall getting back on defense better as a team, which they haven't been doing. But the points in the paint, second chance points, that's a problem in the playoffs against this particular team especially. Jalen Johnson can't allow, because that's not going to change. They're going to keep Hart on Jalen the rest of this series for sure. So it's going to be up to Jalen to adjust. What is he going to do? He's the bigger person. He's the bigger player. Will he post him up at all? Will the Hawks figure out how to post up a player? Remember, we've never had a post up player. The only post up player we've had was John Collins. That was eons ago now. And we didn't want to do that with John, barely. But when we did, he scored. Imagine that, right? Back to the basket. Basketball is not dead. You just don't want to do it. That's a problem. You don't know how to pass. You don't know how to do an inbounds pass. That's embarrassing. I always talk about that playing basketball. Why can't you pass the ball right in the post? Jalen Johnson has an advantage. If they're going to continue with that matchup, Jalen has an advantage down low. Offset what Hart can do one-on-one and stopping you from doing what you're doing and making Jalen defer. CJ took 22 shots in that game. Jalen took 12. That's not sustainable. I guarantee you it's not. I'm sorry. It is what it is. In fact, let me do something real quick. I'm going to tell you why it's not sustainable. If my computer will catch up. So, oh shoot, what's going on? Right now, man, those are not good field goal percentages. We would have to depend that CJ is going to shoot 54% for the rest of this series. Now, in the playoffs career, he's 43% shooter as a guard. Last couple times he was in the playoffs, he shot 41%, 39%. His last year in Portland, he was shooting 43% from the floor. Now, he might stay hot. Okay. But even this season, we've seen games where he hadn't been too hot. Right? Just like that song, Too Hot, right? By Kool and the Gang, I think it was, right? I don't think we should put it all on CJ. I just think that's fair. What about y'all? Okay. So we need Jalen Johnson. We need all-star potential, all-NBA Jalen Johnson in his first playoff series as the lead person to be the best on the team. Because otherwise, again, Cat just didn't have enough shots. Is Jalen going to be that bad in a back-to-back game? I doubt it. He doesn't have the history of that. Remember, he's a clutch player of the year player. Had his team in the Eastern Conference Finals just a year ago. Do we really want to roll the dice on that? I don't think so. We need everything out of NAW tonight. We can't have 9 points. We can't have 17 points. We need 20-plus points out of NAW to win this game. Kuminga does not have a history of having back-to-back double-digit games this season. He doesn't have it. I can show y'all that real quick. Let's see if I can do this. I'll just put in his last name. There we go. Oh, this is where I forgot. See, that's what I'm supposed to do while I'm looking up stuff. All right, so here's Kuminga's games this season with the Hawks, okay? He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is that? 8 games where he scored double digits this season. Twice he's gone back-to-back double digits. He had 12 points back-to-back games against Orlando and Brooklyn. He had 24 and 15 against the Cavs. All the other games, if you scored 20, the next night he scored 2 and then 7 points, then 16, then 2, then 16, then 8, then 3, then 10, 12, 12, 5, 24, 15. So game, why does that say? They have that wrong. They have that reversed. Oh, there it is, game 1. Game 1, he had 8, and then he had 19. So we need him to have another double-digit game. But again, the math of it is the math. And here's what he was in. This is what he shot in those games, by the way, just so you know. 7 of 10, 0 for 4, 2 of 7, 7 for 11, 1 of 9, 5 of 7, 3 of 9, 0 for 5, 4 of 11, 5 of 7, 4 of 6, 2 of 6, 11 for 20. Okay. That was that first Cleveland loss in that game. And then he went 4 of 12 in the win against Cleveland. In that first loss against the Knicks, he was 3 of 7 from the floor, 42% from the floor. He missed both his threes. He had 4 boards and an assist. He had 8 points. We need it. We need all these things to happen because we got to win game 3. We won game 2. That was a must win. We have to win 3 more games, right? Do you think we can win 3 more games with Jalen Johnson averaging 17 points a game? 3 assists a game? Do you feel confident that C.J. McCollum could average 30 points a game the rest of this series? He is a scorer, but I just showed you also per history a little bit in the playoffs. Okay. Alexander Walker. Do you think we can win 3 more games with him averaging 9 points a game, 15 points a game, 12 points a game when he's been averaging 20 all season? Again, Okongwu has been pretty much the steadiest player we've had production-wise so far, like literally, because it's not Dyson, right? Hasn't been Walker, right? I don't even know why they put Muhammad Gay in the game anymore. Again, I say play Asa. Like, I don't know why Buddy Hield can't play now. If you're willing to go ahead and say you get Zach out the game forever, put Buddy Hield in because he's the best shooter that we have on the team. He's the best shooter we have on the team, 3-point wise. Why not put him in for Corey Kispert at least? Right? It can't be because of defense. Corey Kispert ain't no defender. But put the best shooter in there. Put Buddy Hield, put Asa in there, and see what happens. Asa could be getting Muhammad Gay's time, and Buddy Hield could be getting Corey Kispert. If you ain't going to play nobody else, do that. Because this was a 1-point game. You know what I'm saying? And I would much rather have Buddy Hield out there shooting a couple of threes with the possibility of hitting them. Okay. Corey Kispert missed his 3. You see what I'm saying? Gabe did hit his. He took 2. He hit 1. Kuminga went 1 of 4. McCollum went 3 of 10. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Okongwu shouldn't be the best 3-point shooter on our team. He's 2 or 3 from 3. If you're relying on that, I think that's fallacy. I just think that's a mistake. Again, we're talking about winning the series. We're not just talking about winning a couple of games. This coach, man. And I will, and I did not get to that yet. Do I got time? So that was the other part of this equation. Whether or not someone who has been basically for his whole career horrible at rotations for the most part or decision making, can he get through a first round series based off of his prior history, just this season, last season, year before that, just being determined to put in certain lineups. Remember, part of the reason the Hawks started playing better, and I mentioned this before in the other show, make sure y'all subscribe, by the way. You got rid of Vitt, you got rid of Luke. Those two players don't play no defense. And you put them in a rotation where all of a sudden, where the Hawks have a lead, no lead. All of a sudden, the Hawks are even, we're down by 50. And he's determined to keep, he was until he couldn't. Y'all remember the movie, was it Moneyball? Oh, I'm going to start him. No, you can't. I traded him today. You can't put in who ain't on the team no more, right? And all of a sudden, you couldn't put in that group. And all of a sudden, those frivolous points that Luke and Vitt would give up every game for the minutes that they played, they're gone now, right? And I said also the other reason we started being able to get things right, you went on and benched Zach and put in CJ, a proven 18, 19 points a game guy who can get his own shot. So you're not stuck. Because since you did get rid of somebody who was getting Zach the best shots ever, which we can show by video evidence and his numbers from a year ago, 4 30-point games a year ago. Since you did that, you had to bench him at a certain point. It just had to happen because his defense wasn't good enough to keep him on the floor. Not really, right? So those two things, and then, of course, that schedule, 11 teams that are way below 500, helped, right? But to sustain what's going on right now, again, it's all on Kuminga. We got to get 19 points a game out of him every game, the rest of this series. Jalen Johnson can't be held down by, again, he was taking out the game. Like I can show, let me show y'all real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here in a second. First period, Jalen Johnson went 0 of 3. Had 1 steal. He didn't have no rebounds. He didn't have anything. Okay, he had 2 points in the first quarter. Second quarter, he took 1 shot in the second quarter. He had 3 boards. He had 1 assist. He had 2 points in the quarter. That's halftime. That's a loss normally for the Hawks. If it wasn't for C.J. McCollum bailing us out, we lose this game easily. Quarter 3, Jalen Johnson was 3 of 4. Okay, right? Because he was kind of, pushing a little bit. He had 7 points. And then in the fourth quarter, he was 3 of 4 again. So that's how he ended up finishing 50% for the game. He had 6 points. He played 7 minutes in the fourth quarter. Okongwu played the whole fourth quarter, basically, at 11:54, 12 minutes, basically. He had 3 boards and assists. He had 4 points. McCollum, again, 3 of 5 in the quarter, had 6 points. Kuminga, big, he played the whole fourth quarter. That was your rotation. Like, literally, there was parts of this game that Jalen was on the bench. That can't be a possibility for us. Jalen being on the bench, and then we have a run because he's on the bench. That don't make, again, just saying, it ain't sustainable. He's the best player on our team. Correct? Or am I wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jalen's number 2 all of a sudden. Nobody told anybody. Francis says, what's up with Buddy? I don't know why he's not getting no playing time. Again, for me, trying to force it down our throats that Gabe Vincent and Corey Kispert are just so much better than Buddy Hield and Muhammad Gay, and you're just going to put all these other people in there, and Buddy Hield is literally, let me put it back on all periods real quick. Let me do this for y'all real quick. I don't like using this for this, but let's see if it'll hold. Yeah, this is going to take too long for me to figure out on this. So, first of all, the one game he got to play in, he was 7 of 11 from 3. That's 63 doggone %. He also had 3 boards, 3 assists, and a steal. You're trying to tell me that that's not in 21 minutes? Buddy Hield can't get 14 minutes? in the playoffs? Let's go ahead and pull up Buddy. Doggone it. I got to do it now. Let's see. I guess I got to put stats. There we go. Buddy Hield. I don't know why he's not getting any playing time. I really don't. So this is a player that let's see, where's his career starts? All right, 2000, let's say starting in 16, 15 points a game, 13 points a game, 20 points a game. Gotta move this little thing here. 19 points a game, 16 points a game, 15 points a game, 14 points a game, 18 points a game, 16 points a game, and then Indiana 12 points, Golden State 11. And that's basically because his minutes were going down. But why is he at like 0 minutes? You see what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. Why is he at 7 minutes a game with the Atlanta Hawks? Golden State at 17 minutes a game, he was getting 8 points a game for them. This man has shot 40%, 42%, 45%, 44%. That's from the floor. And then from three, he hits threes, guys. Now, sometimes he doesn't hit the best percentage, but he's a threat. He's a common threat that everybody knows about. Francis says not really. His coach is confused. I don't know about confused, but again, and my man Damon Thomas on Twitter has said, you know, your history says your history. And Utah didn't get to the finals. And they had a team good enough to do it. They had the defensive player of the year, and they had one of the most dominant shooting guards that you could possibly have on the team. Right? There's something to that to an extent. And a lot of it just comes down to who you choose to put in the game and win. That's the coaching part of it. And being able to what? Adjust. Adjustments matter in the playoffs more so than anything else, right? And for the fact that we really saw Jalen Johnson get taken out of the game is scary stuff, y'all, because it means it can happen again. We saw it a little bit in game one. Yes, Jalen had 23 points in that game, but it was still, it just wasn't, it didn't seem like Jalen was all there. It just seemed, again, this is his first time in the playoffs as the guy, but that shouldn't matter per what everybody's been saying, right? Because again, that's the talk. Well, we're better. You know, it was the other person's fault and all this. I have a show coming up to kind of show y'all some things again, but I'm gonna get to that another time. But that shouldn't matter. He's an all-star. The team won the division. The team clinched the 6th spot. It's not that we don't have enough. That can't be it. If we don't make it out the first round, again, I mentioned this before, what's going to be the excuse that people give? Jock Londale ain't playing? That can't be it. That just can't be it. I'm sorry, it can't be it. If we can't figure out how to replace 8 points and 4 rebounds off the bench with the rest of the players that we have on the bench, that's a failure. That's a failure of immense magnitude right there. I think everybody should agree with that. Because we got to win this game. It's not about winning just this game. We got to win this series. We got to win 3 more games. Can we win 3 more games? Jalen Johnson averaging 17 points a game, maybe. NAW scoring 9 points a game. Dyson scoring 4-5 points a game. That's not sustainable. Not against this team. If this was a different team, maybe. If this was a different team, maybe we can get away with that. But this team has a history. OG, Bridges. You think Bridges is really going to go 3 for 10 in back-to-back games? I doubt it. Again, they're going to make some adjustments. Jalen Johnson is not going to be on CJ no more. I almost can guarantee you that. Either OG or Bridges will be on him. Now, CJ still might score 32. I don't know. We'll see. But we can't have 2 of 5 of our starters not getting double digits and think we're going to win. We scrapped that game out and we won by 1 point despite missing our free throws, despite the 3-point percentage, despite giving up all the rebounds, despite giving up all the second chance points and the points in the paint. We won the game anyway. That's not sustainable, though. Not for this team who we have on this team, the roster. So all those things are going to come into play. And I just hope that we can figure it out, because we can't win game 2 and then go and lose game 3. Right? Because that means if the Knicks win game 4, they're going back home to be able to clinch, and then you got the gentleman's sweep. That ain't cool. The whole season to come down to that, if those things were to transpire just like that in order, I don't know what people will say. But they better not say, oh, well, it was because we didn't have Jock Loundale, young Jock. They better not do that. They better not do that. So all that being said, again, I just wanted to come on here and talk about game 2. Game 3 is tonight. Now, normally through the years, we would have on around the ATL a Atlanta Falcons draft show. That did not happen this time. There was just not enough time per my schedule, my co-host's schedule, to even put anything together. So we are going to do a full draft show after the draft, after we know what we've done, all the players. We're going to go through everything in detail. So look forward to that. Probably Sunday, somewhere in there, hopefully, or even next Monday. We'll see. I have to get with them. But yeah, this game right here is the biggest game of the year again. Again, game 2 was the biggest game of the year because you could not go down 0-2. Again, NBA history says you go down 0-2, series is pretty much over. Only a few times has a team go 0-2 and came back to win, right? You had to win game 2. So we did that job. You split. That is always the goal in a series, is that you can split your 2 home games on the road, right? With the other team. Now you're coming home. Now you got to win these 2 games, right? You can't afford to split at home because of what I just said. If we're able to win both games at home, now you have a shot, right? Because now, guess what? You're 1 win away from going to the second round and then seeing what happens there. So we're going to see what transpires. I got to get out of here, guys. Got to get on the road. Make sure you subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel. It's been scrolling down there on the bottom this whole time. Make sure you look at some of the past episodes as well. Again, I do have a part 2 to my series about that former player being traded, so be looking out for that. Again, it's been real busy. Haven't been able to get stuff together like I normally would. Just time-wise, it's just been really tough. But look forward to that. Again, Falcons draft show is going to be coming up soon as well. I will be working on redoing the intro of the show. Again, been really busy with a lot of stuff, so I am working on doing a new one for the intro. But in the meantime, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Enjoy the game tonight, and go Hawks.
Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect, around the AT.